Hello and welcome to India Tonight. I'm Karan Thapar. Sunday was International Women's Day. It coincided with a study published by the reputed British medical journal The Lancet showing that each year over 100,000 young Indian women die of burning. That means on average 12 women burn to death every single hour. The corresponding figure for men is less than half. What does this horrific finding tell us about Indian society? Why has it been ignored by the press? And are we capable of changing the social attitudes that lie behind the situation? With me, the chairperson of the National Commission of Women, Girija Vyas, reputed author and columnist Shobha De, and one of India's foremost lawyers, Indira Jaisingh. Girija Vyas, a recent study by the highly regarded British medical journal The Lancet has established that over 100,000 young women are killed in fires in India each year, which means that a shocking 12 Indian women are burnt to death on average every hour. And that figure, in fact, is double the figure for men. Now, before we discuss this study and I ask you about how you respond to it, let me ask you a simple question. Do you have any reason to question or dispute the Lancet's findings?
Number one, I'm not clear your voice, but anyhow, I don't know what is the purpose of this study, number one. Number two, you said killed to death. You know, I think in the study, it has not written that they are killed. Because the causes they mention in the study, I haven't seen the study, but I have seen the report published in the paper. And the report says that they die because of the, caused by the fire, etc. So it is not sure that whether by accident, by dowry deaths, because if you see the figure, I can say, but in 2003 even, the reported death by the dowry death was less than 5,000. And in 2003 it was 6,000 around, because Indira is here, she may correct me. And now it is around 8,000.
Okay. So
you can't say that all the deaths are due to the dowry, because of the dowry death and because they were killed. Maybe, I don't know whether the figure is correct or not, because we have to check the data authenticity of the sources of information and data before we react.
All right.
But,
let me stop you there, because I want to bring in Shobha De at this point, and I want to bring in Shobha De specifically on the issue that you've raised about whether these are people who were killed or whether there's some other explanation for the fact that they actually died by fire. Shobha De, the Lancet study says that 60% of women who die of burning are aged between 15 and 34. And secondly, it says that most of the deaths are caused by kitchen accidents, self-immolation or domestic violence. Now, the study's authors believe that this suggests the women were killed. Do you think that's a justified suggestion?
Karan, to start with, I must say I'm absolutely aghast and horrified at the response of Girija Ji. It's not about numbers. Does it make it any better if it's 5,000 and not 12,000? The fact is that in our society, domestic violence and dowry deaths are perhaps our best kept dirty secret. And it's not about putting a statistic on something as appalling, as disturbing and as horrific. These are women in the prime of their lives, 15 to 34, and instead of offering them a better quality of life, we're actually taking their lives. I mean, shouldn't we be hanging our heads in shame and not discussing numbers at this point? Shouldn't it be a wake-up call for all of us to say, my God, this is happening in India, and women are such a cheap commodity, their lives have no value, and you know, it's easier to get a nano car in a family than put up with a young bride who can't afford to bring that car into the family. I think that is so disturbing. We really shouldn't be discussing the authenticity or the statistics involved in this study.
Absolutely. I sidestepped the question about the authenticity, but I take it from your answer, Shobha De, that you do accept the suggestion made by the Lancet study's authors that deaths of the sort that you describe look very much like killings rather than anything more innocent.
I have no doubt in my mind that's exactly what they are, and society is complicit in its silence and support. More than anybody else, it's the police, it's the authorities who'd rather not deal with it. Dowry has been officially banned since 1961. But try going to a cop station and registering any kind of a complaint where something as horrible as this has taken place. And they will say, I know because I've intervened several times, and they tell me, ye to Mia baby ka mamla hai, aap isme kyun involve ho rahe ho? If this is our attitude, if this is how authorities and police regard these deaths, it only proves one thing, that women's lives are disposable, they're dispensable, and nobody, least of all the authorities, give a damn.
Indra